you just gave a fascinating talk about lean cultivation and how much more yield somebody can get if they're using some lean best practices to improve their grow. Can you give some examples of some practices that would help people get more yield from their grow?
Sure. I think, they typically would fall into two buckets. One is pest management, integrated pest management, and the other would be crop steering. How can we steer the crop towards the optimal output that we want to get? So they do many things to the plants, pinching, de-leafing, but it's still people doing it. So there's always, some inconsistencies, some waste, and so some of the things we can do is measure and track that performance and optimize it. So we can use computer vision technologies as we do to measure progress, to measure how well some of those tasks are being executed, and so that we have like homogeneity in the crop. And homogeneity means that we're going to get a more reliable and consistent output, and we can also continually improve. So if we don't know how many nodes to pinch or when to de-leaf, through that data collection we can help optimize down to the strain level. So what does sour kush, like what's optimal time to de-leaf, and really start to continually improve those and boost the quality and yields of each plant and therefore each crop.
Fantastic. Your computer imaging is looking at what kinds of levels of imaging are you working with?
So, yeah, we do a few things, but it's all very high resolution is one thing, and it's down to the plant level. So our system is moving, it's very close to the plant, so we can see like very fine details, and we analyze essentially every plant. We do two things. One is, again, detecting pests and diseases and stress. So much like a human scout would do, we build models to detect the presence of pests and pathogens or the expression of the plant stress, nutrient deficiencies as well. Everything that you can do visually as a human, we can try to build models to do as well and scale that. In terms of what sensors and stuff we use a multitude, but a lot is based on visible spectrum, but we do integrate like thermal sensing as well and some multispectral types of sensing into the system as well, so that we can see a little bit further and a little bit beyond the human visible capabilities.
Yeah, we're sort of limited, really.
yeah, and that's why we call our system the mantis, and it's kind of named after two things. One is the insect mantis, which likes to eat other insects, so the bad bugs, but also the mantis shrimp, which has, I think, 10 times the photoreceptors that a human eye does.
Amazing.
So we want to emulate both of those creatures.
Great, amazing. So one last question just about the Emerald Conference as a whole, focusing on cannabis science. What do you think are some of the core challenges for the cannabis industry that science can solve? I mean, obviously productivity and your yield is one, and that's where you're focusing. What are some of the other areas you're most excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I think cannabis is new. It hasn't been studied like other crops have for decades, and so I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think integrating technologies is really where we want to help and collaborate. I think right now there is a lot of tech coming into cannabis or being developed here, but it's all very fragmented. Each is doing their own thing, and I think it's going to be really important, and we're really excited to integrate different data sets so that we can do bigger and better things. And ultimately, what we want to help do is build an operating system and build for the greenhouse, for the farms, and be able to generate more adaptively like full growing recipes, help growers really understand their genetics and then what it takes to get the most out of those genetics. It's really complex, so I think that's where data science can really come in and make a big impact.
Yeah, huge impact. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.